WWL-TV breaking news now.
After a weeks-long investigation, Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill is now facing an indictment from a New Orleans grand jury. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharice Gibson. It is the latest update to a saga that is centered around a contentious feud between state and New Orleans leaders. Murrill sent letters to Mayor Helena Moreno, DA Jason Williams, and 5 city council members. She told them they risked losing their elected positions because they called for a special election for the Orleans Parish Clerk of Court position. Now, due to those actions, the grand jury indicted Murrill on 16 felony counts, 8 counts of public intimidation and 8 counts of malfeasance in office. Her bond was set at $400,000, $25,000 for each count.
Aren't we a little tired as New Orleanians also having everyone in the state kicking New Orleans? And why would we want people to be afraid to run for office if they're going to be intimidated?
But are you worried that now Attorney General Murrill could use the power of the state to come after you or other members of the local administration?
I worry every day about myself. How about you?
New Orleans goes and begs the state of Louisiana for money, hundreds of millions of dollars. They'll be back there in a couple of weeks. And this is sort of, as the governor said, the kangaroo court we expect here in the city. There are consequences for that. And so, you know, the bond, locking the press out, setting a $400,000 bond when we're not seeing that on armed robberies, you know, that certainly says what the motives are here. And I think the rest will speak for itself.
A few hours after the indictment was announced, Murrill released a statement saying, quote, after taking on violent crime and entrenched corruption in New Orleans, it is no surprise the status quo is looking for ways to stop me. How this unprecedented action and the corrupt indictment spawned from it are retaliatory, meritless, and unconstitutional. And there has been really a lot of reaction to this indictment. We turn now to Kyron Neveau, joining me now in studio. He has been watching this entire thing unfold.
Well, Sharice, the moment that indictment became public, we heard reaction from past and present elected officials. We also spoke with some attorneys who said this could get very ugly for the state of Louisiana as a whole.
Former New Orleans Mayor Mark Murrill agreed with the grand jury's decision Thursday, saying Attorney General Liz Murrill's threats against Mayor Moreno, members of the city council, and District Attorney Jason Williams was unethical.
This business of attacking New Orleans, coming from the governor and the attorney general, is so backwards, so unnecessary. It reminds us of 1950s Louisiana.
The indictment stemmed from the debate earlier this year over the elimination of the Orleans Parish Clerk of Criminal Court office, when Mayor Moreno and the council voted to install an interim clerk, but Murrill sent them letters warning that they risk losing their elected positions if they didn't stop that process. Moreno responded in a statement Thursday about the indictment, saying, "My focus, as always, remains on fulfilling the responsibilities the people of New Orleans elected me to carry out." But Attorney Bill Aaron told us this tension between the city and the state could ultimately hurt the public.
The problem is that you have a war going on between the city and the state, and it seems to be escalating.
We're living in an environment where I've never seen such elevated social distrust and loss of confidence.
Governor Landry said that he would pardon Murrill and called the court system kangaroo. But according to Louisiana law, the governor may grant pardons to those convicted of crimes against the state, but only with the approval from the Board of Pardons. He followed up saying he is asking state police to conduct their own investigation into the alleged improprieties of this grand jury. The Attorney General responded, saying, "I will be immediately filing an emergency supervisory writ with the Louisiana Supreme Court. Hopefully this will be sorted out quickly." But WWL political analyst Dr. Silas Lee says it could take a while.
This is not Law and Order. This is not CSI, where the issues will be resolved in a very short amount of time.
We also asked Dr. Lee if Attorney General Liz Murrill can continue her work at this time. He said yes, but obviously this will be in the back of her mind. Sharice?
This legal tug-of-war is all connected to the Orleans Parish Clerk of Criminal Court office.
Thank you all for just having a faith and a belief that we could do it.
Last November, Calvin Duncan won the election with 68% of the vote, but before he could take office, state lawmakers passed a law eliminating that position and rolling the duties of criminal court into civil court. Those who back the law say it's a matter of government efficiency. A federal judge issued a temporary restraining order which allowed Duncan to temporarily take office while the court sorted things out. That was quickly reversed by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Duncan was in office for about 2 hours before a stay was issued and he left the courthouse. Mayor Helena Moreno asked the city council to consider calling a special election and appointing an interim clerk, arguing with the new state law comes a new elected office, and it was an office that civil clerk Chelsea Napoleon wasn't elected to. The city council met and 5 of the 7 members called for a special election and named former criminal court judge Calvin Johnson as interim clerk in the meantime. That move triggered a lawsuit by Napoleon, who argues the mayor and the council overstepped their authority. And Attorney General Liz Murrill sent letters to city leaders warning they could be removed from office for violating state usurper laws, which forbid support for an unauthorized office holder. Mayor Helena Moreno and the council responded via social media to what they call political intimidation by Murrill.
The 5 of us stand together, united and undaunted by these actions.
I will not be intimidated or threatened by the state attorney general.
And a split 4-3 decision upholding the clerk merger, the Louisiana Supreme Court permanently blocked the New Orleans City Council's interim appointment, but explicitly cleared council members of violating state usurper laws, citing the widespread confusion surrounding the new law. And one note on today's proceedings: when Judge Leon Roche ordered the court cleared and locked, a WWL investigative producer, Danny Monteverdi, tried to object, letting Roche know the station disagreed and citing an act of the Code of Criminal Procedure.
Article 383 of the Code of Criminal Procedure explicitly states that a return on indictment by a grand jury shall be read in open court. So shall is mandatory language. It means that it must.
But the court argued that in order to maintain privacy, only the presiding judge, court staff, and prosecuting attorneys can be in the courtroom for a grand jury return. Our attorney rushed to court to try to file a motion to get the hearing open, but was unsuccessful. Both our attorney and investigative reporter were both briefly detained, but quickly released. You can find the latest updates on the story on our website and our free smartphone app for your phone or television.